Ah, hello. It's so good to see you again. You caught me right in the middle of my evening ritual. It's where I hold these candles and like to imagine taking their flames and engulfing the entire world in a great demonic hellfire. It brings me peace. Anyway, on with the show. Good evening, ghouls and ghosts, and welcome to Spooktober on the Netflix Knowhow. I am your host, whose bones are the most, Skelemundo, and today we have The Ritual, or as I like to call it, 4 Brits go to Sweden and remake the Blair Witch Project. I kid. Although I will admit The Ritual does draw heavily from that film. You know, come to think of it, I don't recall witnessing a central ritual in this film. I mean, unless you call that pathetic little putting rocks on top of other rocks with a photograph nonsense at the beginning a ritual. Not even a single goblet of goat blood was used. How disappointing. The ritual follows 4 friends who decide to go hiking in the Swedish wilderness after one of their friends was murdered in a liquor store mugging. On their way back, they decide to go off the beaten path and take a shortcut through the woods, where spooky things appear to be happening. I don't understand what it is with humans wandering off into the woods when clearly they know they are all going to be brutally murdered in some kind of cultish demonic fashion. So perhaps the single most impressive element that the ritual is wielding is its handling of the atmosphere. It nails a very solemn tone that is chilling, tense, and generally unsettling the entire way through. I never thought of Sweden as a scary place, but I must say that this forest is probably one of the spookiest ones I have seen in a long time in film. It is filled with an abundance of shocking and creepy imagery, and just the look and feel of the forest is something that will make your skin crawl. I believe that is how the expression goes. It is difficult to tell when you don't have any skin of your own. Though there are certainly a handful of gruesomely disgusting images along the way, the movie does not rely on gore, and it instead focuses on a slow buildup of dread and fear and confusion while being lost in the forest. The escalation of panic and fear among the characters feels natural and genuine and is paced incredibly well. Just look at the handling of the first night that they spend in the woods. A storm has rolled in and enveloped them in the middle of the night. They find a creepy abandoned cabin in the middle of the woods, complete with a cultish statue up in the attic. And then they spend the night. There seems to be a mysterious force stalking them, and the chaos of the next morning is so wonderful. The movie does an excellent job of preying on the fears of the characters, particularly the main character, who is the primary witness upon seeing their friend be murdered in the liquor store at the beginning. The flashbacks that he goes through are creepy and grow more disturbing with each new encounter, and it does a very good job of showing the stress and the turmoil of dealing with that level of PTSD. And it's not just him. The film does an excellent job of showing the mental deterioration and the trauma of each character as the film progresses. The movie also understands that the scariest monsters are the ones that we cannot see, and it does an excellent job of keeping the monster hidden in the shadows, obscured by the woods, where you see little hints of movement and hear creepy sounds and growls, and you never quite know what is going on. The scariest monsters are the ones that are left to the imagination, and we are constantly wondering, is this monster real? Is it only a figment of their imagination? We don't really know the answer, and it is terrifying. Sadly, we do come to learn that the monster is in fact real. Really disappointing. While the first 2 acts are tense and filled with paranoia and a great sense of mystery, the third act is... what? It goes from being a smart and horrifically crafted psychological horror to something of a generic creature feature slop. It all but removes that ominous sense of stalking mystery that was following them through the film, and because of it, it loses all sense of tension and fear. It turns out that the monster is just a thing that exists in the woods, and there is no purpose or intentional connection to the characters and their plight. It has all but thrown out every question that had been asked up to this point, with perhaps the biggest one being, why has the monster chosen the main character to torment specifically?
Your pain is great.
But that doesn't really answer.
Over soon.
Oh, okay, I guess we're not talking about this anymore. It becomes less about the characters and their individual fears, and more just about a big, dumb, stupid monster that is haunting them for no apparent reason. The whole reason it was scary up to that point is because the mysterious threat that was stalking them felt motivated. It felt personal, like it was specifically hunting them for a very certain purpose. But when we get to the ending, it turns out there is no meaning or connection to the characters, just a stroke of terrible luck. With all of that said, the atmosphere and the tension and the inescapable sense of fear from the first 2 acts cannot be denied, and they certainly cannot be dragged down into the mud and into its own tombstone by the end. It may have a woefully ho-hum 3rd act, but you will have long since crapped your pants before then. Now be sure to gather your ritual movie-watching blankets and get lost in the woods with the ritual. Bones up. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. So The Ritual, pretty scary movie up until the end, but certainly before that it was really, really terrifying, and I highly recommend it. It's a good film. You'll enjoy it, especially if you enjoy films just about people getting lost in the wood. It's a great addition to the genre. Anyway, I hope you are enjoying Spooktober. I am having a wonderful time watching all these scary, spooky things. It has been lovely so far. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. You can also head over to Facebook and over to Twitter and follow me on there. And as always, if you want to know your spooky flicks, you know where to click. Happy haunting, everybody. See you next time.